Bulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tavua. We love Today FM in Tavua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selena, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in...
And the news tonight, assessors find 5 not guilty in Fiji Times case. Kumar takes on Nawaikula in Parliament. An alleged murder in bank car park.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
The Suva High Court assessors have unanimously found writer Chesaya Wangamada and the Fiji Times executives not guilty of sedition and aiding and abetting charges late this afternoon. After almost 3 hours of summing up by High Court Judge Justice Tushara Rajasinghe, the 3 assessors retired behind the closed doors to deliberate on an opinion. Pranita Prakash reports.
During his summing up, Justice Tushara Rajasinghe highlighted the evidence of 11 witnesses who took the stand in the trial which began last month. The judge said each of the accused are charged separately based on one document. Justice Rajasinghe said the prosecution alleges that the article written by Chesaya Wangamada suggests that the Muslim are land-grabbing monsters and will take over the land in Fiji unless the readers of Naila Lakai do not take any action. However, according to the defense, the letter was only suggesting national reconciliation on issues affecting the Itoke community. Chesaya Wangamada is charged with 1 count of sedition, and it is alleged that between the 20th and 27th April 2016, he did a seditious act and submitted an article in the Naila Lakai newspaper which could have caused feelings of ill will and hostility between the population of Fiji, particularly the Muslims and the non-Muslims. Andre Ravula is charged with 1 count of aiding and abetting, and it is alleged that he aided Arts to publish an article which was a seditious publication. Fred Wesley is charged with 1 count of aiding and abetting, and it is alleged that he aided Arts to publish an article which was a seditious publication. Hank Arts is charged with 1 count of sedition, and it is alleged that he published an article on 27th April which could have caused an ill will and hostility between the population of Fiji, particularly the Muslims and the non-Muslims. The High Court will deliver its judgment next Tuesday. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Opposition MP Nico Nawaikula was today accused of trying to sabotage government's role in helping squatters around the country. Nawaikula, while speaking on the informal settlement, said the government was not doing anything to help those who reside in squatter settlements. In response, local government minister Parveen Kumar revealed that Nawaikula was going around settlements trying to influence people and landowners. Rachel Nath has more.
Nawaikula was back with his attacks on the government, this time using this opportunity to claim the state was not doing much to look after the plight of the squatters. This set the tone for a heated debate which followed.
To end by stating once again that this government has failed the poor of this country. And if it cannot provide a sense of security, it should step aside and let us finish what we started many years ago.
I've been told by the squatters that he has been influencing landowners not to lease, give development lease to government for the development of these squatters.
Nawaikula went on to claim he was being the champion for those squatters who were being neglected, only to be reminded about his own tenure at the then NLTB.
I've been a firm advocate for land issues because it provides us with a sense of security.
But I will still say that he was very much part of the TLTB team at that point in time when the leases were not renewed. That's the fact. No one can deny that fact. He's smiling because he knows it's the truth.
The debate also took a turn when Nawaikula stated the People's Community Network, which is looking after the Langi Langi housing project, was not doing a fine job. The Langi Langi housing project at Jitu Estate in Suva has 99-year leases for land to construct housing units.
The shocking truth is that PCN continues to collect hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings with no statements being given back. They are effectively stealing from the poor. And that is your solution.
Pointed out that it's your government. You forgot to say. I don't know why he's not saying the truth. You know who's the trustee? your former candidate, Mr. Samuela Samatwa, your colleague. Why are you not telling this? This is the truth.
Kumar told Parliament that the Langi Langi Housing Project Phase 1 was completed 2 years ago at a cost of $5.7 million. Phase 2, which cost $6 million, has already had 40 units completed and 37 to be completed soon. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Opposition MP Josefa Dulaki Virata was today told to get his facts right and stop misleading landowners by making false statements. Dulaki Virata was accused of hiding the facts and making false statements during his statement on the Land Use Act. He claimed that Itoke land could be easily taken by the state and put in the land bank, and also that the government was wanting to make money.
It is very clear from the objective above, Madam Speaker, that the best interest of the Itoke land is not paramount. It is the optimal return to the state that is more important to the government.
The Honourable Dulaki Virata firstly calls it a decrease and act. And secondly, Madam Speaker, he has misrepresented facts here. Madam Speaker, he is implying that any Itoke land can simply be used by the state to be put in the land bank. Absolutely incorrect. The regulations pertaining to the Land Use Act quite clearly, Section 4 states you must get a minimum of 60% of the members of the land-owning unit. They have to consent to it. He did not represent that at all. And, Madam Speaker, unlike the other TLTB, there's actually a prescribed form. It's not like you can get any signature. Prescribed form, it has to be submitted. Section 10, Madam Speaker, 11 says that it must be always in the best interest of the landowners. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, it is absolutely nonsense to say that the state is simply filling its pockets by using of Itoke land. Absolutely nonsense.
Locals and expatriates working at Fiji Airways were a hot topic of debate in Parliament this morning. Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Sayed Qayyum reiterated the government will look at what's good for the organisation, even if it means bringing in expatriates. Akasita Tale reports.
The acting Prime Minister today revealed that a local that was in charge of hedging at Fiji Airways a few years ago was responsible for a $96 million loss incurred by the national airline.
A person who knows about hedging will be able to anticipate world prices. That's the whole point about hedging. That's why you hedge. Don't you understand why you do hedging?
Hedging is a way of protecting oneself or organization against financial loss or other adverse circumstances. Syed Qayyum adds the airline made another $76 million loss the following year under the leadership of the same local.
But no one anticipated that the price of oil would drop so significantly as we saw some years ago, from about $110 per barrel to as low as about $20 a barrel.
Because they got the hedging wrong. Now, if we had somebody who was a hedging expert, had 10, 15, 20 years of experience in hedging, we would not have that issue. Now, it is correct to say that there are people within Fiji, there are probably nobody in Fiji who has had 15, 20 years worth of experience in hedging.
The Fiji Airways Group announced its highest ever profit of $95.8 million in March for the fiscal year ending December 2017. The national airline currently has 254 pilots, of which 158 are Fijians. Fiji Airways has plans to recruit more pilots with the new flight simulator school to begin operations soon. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The death of a man found unconscious in Suva last night and then pronounced dead at hospital is being investigated as a possible murder. Two men walking near the Suva foreshore last night saw the man, believed to be in his 20s, lying in a pool of blood. The alleged murder took place sometime after 10 p.m. It is reported the victim had earlier passed one of the eyewitnesses accompanied by another youth. Police say the victim is an Itoke male and was wearing light blue shorts and a red t-shirt. He was rushed to the CWM hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The police are requesting for information that could help identify the deceased. Still to come, over 1,600 OHS-related matters recorded last year and first ever pass-out parade for female Navy recruits. Stay with us.
Bula, Keron may singatoka, Keron daw talita ka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi ko minasong buti ko lang, daw talita ka na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya ko agaw sila tali, naguraramay na umanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasibali, nagudurong varong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.
Opposition MP Pramod Chand today said in Parliament that the free medicine scheme is in a shambolic state and needs to be reviewed urgently to bring about efficiency. Chand asked the government to change the eligibility criteria so that individuals under the age of 18 are able to access the scheme. Anna Ravula reports.
Opposition MP Pramod Chand claims the government has not fulfilled their promise since the inception of the free medicine scheme in 2015.
Then their staff have to manually record recipients' details and also that of the prescription. All this is done manually. They don't have direct access to the Ministry of Health Service to electronically ascertain the eligibility of the recipient.
These people are in the electioneering mode, Madam Speaker. That's the problem. That is the problem, Madam Speaker. So the quality and level of debate in this Parliament over the past 4 or 5 days has been abysmal.
Chand says the scheme has seen a promise turn into a misdeal. Responding to Chand, the acting Prime Minister said it is incorrect to say that children don't get free medicine and they are constantly reviewing the scheme.
And the free medicine scheme is something that is being reviewed, and as highlighted in Parliament before, we're trying to get the software, we're working with the Indian government to get all of these pharmacies connected, to get the government pharmacy itself connected.
Saad Qayyum says there have been issues not only between private pharmacies but within the hospital system itself. Currently, 31,000 people are registered under the scheme. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Sadelpa MP Ratunainga Malala Balavu says Hindus were not given a dedicated site to immerse the ashes of their loved ones years ago, as this was a touchy issue. Lalam Balavu was responding to Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Syed Karim's ministerial speech on the government-funded Vatuanga Funeral Rites facility. Lalam Balavu says it needs to be ensured that loved ones are given proper funeral rites, no matter what belief or faith one belongs to.
The cemetery has been there for quite some time. Cremation of our friends and dear and loved ones has been part and parcel of our daily life in Fiji all throughout the years. But the provision of certain rights to be accorded to some, that was a touchy issue then, but now, given the way we all come together and the way we all live together, this initiative needs to be commended.
There were 1,636 reported cases concerning occupational health and safety recorded by the Employment Ministry last year. Employment Minister Chone Usamate, while delivering his ministerial statement, highlighted that out of that number, 302 cases, or 18%, fell within the age group of 26 to 30. Savara Tambua reports young workers seem most vulnerable to injury and illness on the job.
Usamate says young workers have an increased risk of workplace injury due to inexperience, immaturity and lack of awareness of workplace health and safety regulations.
Other factors that put young people at greater risk include insufficient skills and training, not being aware of their rights and their employers' duties, employers not recognizing the additional protection that young workers need, and employers need to be aware of their responsibility to protect the safety and health of workers, and they should pay particular attention to young workers.
Opposition member Michael Lewe responded to the minister's statement, saying there is a need for young workers to be represented in the OHS committee.
To articulate the interest and aspirations as well as the grudges and grievances of the core young workers. There is a lack of youth participation in decision-making.
According to Usamate, over 32% of OHS reported cases for the past 6 years fall within the age group of 20 to 30 years. Savara Tambua, FBC News.
A historic moment for Fiji as the first ever female Navy officers took part in a pass-out parade at the naval base in Tongalevu village outside Lami yesterday. Families of these 26 women officers were present to witness this significant occasion in Fiji naval history. Catherine Krishna reports.
Republic of the Fiji Military Forces Commander Rear Admiral Viliamino Poto says this is a milestone achievement for the force.
We amplify the call for equal opportunity for all, as advocated by government. Whether it is opportunity for employment, opportunity for education, it is equally available to all.
Female graduates say this was their calling, and the 13-week training has molded them into becoming different persons.
I felt proud. I felt like it's a huge achievement so far, but then this is just the starting, and then I have to push myself further.
Been through so much. All I can say was life-changing. I feel so happy that I've gotten this far.
I've learned so much the past 13 weeks, and I know that I'm gonna cherish everything here.
All the young ladies, I wish them, I would like to tell them that they should not think about gender, and then they should always come forth with this.
The military commander says recruiting female Navy officers is in line with the force's vision to provide equal opportunities to all Fijians regardless of their gender. A total of 79 Navy personnel graduated yesterday. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Well, in sports later with Jamie, the Suva rugby side is ready for a top Skipper Cup clash against Nandronga tomorrow. But here's Rachel with business.
Thanks, Amrita. Good evening, and coming up tonight. Accountants urge to help build resilient Fijian economy. And in Great Fiji, work on new Langara market nears completion. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरेंसी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
Business owners, accountants and entrepreneurs have been challenged to find innovative ways to build a more resilient Fijian economy. Speaking during the 46th Fiji Institute Accountants Congress, President Major General Retired Chauchi Conrote encouraged those present to continue pushing the economy upwards. Philippa Nakaso has more.
Details on each of the
representatives from various sectors of the economy, corporate, non-government and government from the region and abroad are gathered here to look at innovative ways to further boost their businesses and contribute to the economy.
I also believe that you are all here today, not only to listen, but most importantly, to collaborate and to synergize your efforts as experts in your various fields and in turn, contribute to building an even stronger and more resilient Fijian economy.
Topics for the Congress were examined by a committee before they invited speakers.
And then, of course, the topics, the relevant topics. And when we bring these topics out, obviously we do a lot of research, and we do take feedback from previous conferences in terms of what are the key areas that they like us to bring, good speakers to talk about.
Approximately 400 participants are present for the Congress, which ends tomorrow. Philippe Naikaso, FBC News.
And we now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the money market.
A quick look at the markets. The US dollar rose against the Japanese yen this morning and set a fresh 4-month high. The greenback was supported by a rise in US Treasury yields, suggesting a more upbeat outlook for the world's largest economy. The 10-year bond yield climbed about 15 basis points this week, putting it on track for the biggest weekly rise in more than 3 months. But the US stock markets appear to be largely unfazed by the latest rise in the US yields. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Nasdaq Composite both ended 0.2% lower, while in New York the S&P 500 was down by 0.1%. However, in London, the FTSE 100 rose 0.7% to a record close. And that's all for this week. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar rose against the Kiwi, the Euro and the Japanese yen, but slipped against the other currencies we cover as they was influenced by the strong rise in the US dollar. As for the commodities market, the price of oil dropped to $72 a barrel, gold closed to $1,288 an ounce, and silver closed at $16.41 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, operations at the new Langara market in Nasinu are expected to begin soon. Speaking in Parliament today, local government minister Praveen Kumar said 85% of the market work is completed. Anna Ruvulo has more.
Market vendors are eager to sell their produce at the new Langara market. Local Government Minister Praveen Kumar says general fitting work is expected to commence next month and there are plans for extension.
I have been informed by the Nasinu Town Council that there is more demand for the stores. And I want to inform the House and assure all those who have applied that we will not disappoint them, because we have enough land. We have provision for the expansion program.
Kumar says priority will be given to those 250 vendors who are selling on roadsides.
That's good. Come and help us give the market there. Here we try the tapping, sometime running, sometime bed. My festival.
It will be good for us because we're out here in the rain and sun and our vegetables are going bad.
The new Langara market is expected to have 400 vendors, a fishing market and disabled-friendly provisions. The project costs the government $7 million. Anna Rovulo, FBC News.
And that's it from Business for this week. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Webb Ellis Cup visits the capital. And the sledgehammer could be earmarked for World Rugby Sevens Rookie of the Year award. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से। मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबू के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The William Webb Ellis Cup was presented at the Fiji Rugby Union headquarters in Suva this morning as part of the Rugby World Cup Trophy Tour. Flown in from Japan on Monday, the Cup first toured the Western Division before making its way to the capital. Meli Tavanga reports.
Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive John O'Connor says the Webb Ellis Cup could not have visited FRU at a better time since the Flying Fijians are preparing for the World Rugby Pacific Nations Cup.
It gives us the realization that our journey is about to start, and the amount of hard work and that we need to put in to be competitive at the Rugby World Cup. Like I said, I thank World Rugby for their plans.
The arrival of the Cup has also driven Fiji Warriors captain Mosesi Walker to work hard for a spot in the Flying Fijian squad for the June test.
It's a great boost for us, for me especially, and maybe for the boys trying to get a spot for this June test and also for the World Cup spot.
Hosts Japan is looking forward to seeing our Flying Fijians battling for the World Cup in Japan next year.
We want to leave it as a gift, so please bring this back to Japan when you come to Kamaishi next year, and then let's get the victory together.
The Cup will make its way to Tai Levu tomorrow to visit the under-18 Ratu Kandavu Levu school, who just recently returned from the Sanix World Youth Tournament in Japan. Meli Tawanga, FBC Sports.
Fiji Airways men's sevens winger Roni Sa will most likely be nominated for the World Rugby Sevens Rookie of the Year award this season. Since bursting onto the World Series in Dubai late last year, coach Gareth Baber rates the man nicknamed the Sledgehammer by commentators as one of the most consistent players on the current series. Vastil Prasad reports.
Ronnie Sau has to go back for the pass, but the sledgehammer.
Ronnie Sau has stamped his mark since featuring in Dubai Sevens, having played 46 games, scoring 33 tries and 165 points.
He's very coachable. Now, when a coach says that, I know that people might not quite know what that means, but he takes on board information. You know, I have conversations with him, and he understands the process that he needs to go through.
Baber says the Sledgehammer is always ready for challenges and trains in a competitive environment.
He isn't egotistical that he would say, look, I'm this player and you can't coach me. He listens to what needs to be done. I'm not saying Aroni always gets it right, because he's a human being on a field under pressure. But what you're seeing is, you know, I've reminded and we've reminded him as a staff of exactly what he needs to do to be good in the game.
Captain Jerry Tuwai says there is a strong bond within the players, and no matter what the result is, they always play like a team.
See, most of our games, we won it in the last minute. It only takes teamwork to win that kind of game.
Tuwai received the World Rugby Sevens Rookie of the Year award in 2015, and with the progress made by Sau so far,
everybody World Rugby was waiting for this one. Ronnie Sau.
This could be his year to get rewarded. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Injured All Blacks captain Kieran Reid is back training with the Crusaders after undergoing back surgery in December. With the return to competition likely to be in July, Reid has offered some insight into who could potentially replace him at number 8 for next month's Test series. The Super Rugby women's team is ready to put up a powerful performance against Navosa in their Skipper Cup match tomorrow. Regardless of the two teams being on opposite ends of the points table, Super coach Eleanor Kunatumba says they've prepared for a strong showing from Navosa. Luciana Tangidakimbao reports.
Despite being unbeaten in the last 3 rounds, the Suva women's rugby side is expecting a tough clash against the 9th-placed Navosa.
We're not taking any team lightly, but our team today, the one that's going to be fielded on Saturday, is a mix of experience and new players that we are introducing to the competition, and we're looking forward to a good outcome.
Coach Eleanor Kunatumba says teamwork will play a major role in the game.
It boils down to our teamwork. We've been working off our patterns of play and structure how we want to play, and according to the other teams as well, according to our opponents. So that's how we've been preparing.
Suva sits on top of the table with 13 points together with Nandi. The capital city side captain Talida Vondo says players need to have the ball possession in order to win the game.
Our tackles, to make a one-on-one tackles. That's the main weakness in our team.
It's a chance for the side to extend the lead on the table, and Suva is sure of to go for a bonus point win tomorrow at Suva's ANZ Stadium. Luciana Tangidakimbao, FBC Sports.
Student rugby players of Ba Provincial Freebird Institute in Lautoka were all smiles as they received donated rugby gear from Japan. The donation, which included much-needed rugby boots, comes as a boost for the students preparing for the upcoming Coke Zero Deans competition.
When I come back in Japan, I asked to my friend what we can do them, and one of my friend introduced the chief in rugby union in Japan, and he gathered more than 100 boots and many uniforms from top.
That's it from sports tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, banking on cheese. We visit the bank in Italy that accepts cheese as collateral for loans. Details coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kombinasyon mo ko lang ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko azo sila tale. Nagurara may nawamanyi nandonga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela bum nabudorong. Barong na Radio Fiji 1.
In new media tonight, the LG G7 ThinQ will be launched tomorrow. The smartphone is said to have new improved features. And here's Angie with our weather update.
Hello to you and to the weekend. Yes, we have reached our favorite day, Friday, and the weather for today was so incredible. You would agree with me as well on that one. Taking a quick look in the west, a muggy day with lots of sun. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, unlimited sunshine equaling to a splendid day. And up north, another wonderful one, just the right amount of heat for that suntan. At sea, southeast winds gusting to 25 knots with rough seas. For the tides, high tide at 9:09 p.m. with low tide at 3:04 a.m. Sunrise at 6:25. For tomorrow, early morning showers will be around before sun takes over the day. Looks like we're in luck. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will be in the high 20s. And looking further on to Sunday, a solid sunny day can be expected. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. I'm Rita.
Thank you, Angie. And in Fijian Pulse, what do you think of the inclusion of the Pacific Island rugby team in Super Rugby?
I think it's a very good thing, and it exposes a lot of other rugby players from other parts of the islands. Like especially in villages, they have most talented rugby players, and they just within their areas.
It's a great benefit for the rugby players in the Pacific.
I think it's a very good idea. We can be recognized in Super Rugby.
Good to improve for the boys to command with their, the islanders, for Samoa and Fiji and Tonga. It's good.
Recapping the main stories, assessors find 5 not guilty in Fiji Times case. Kumar takes on Nawaikula in Parliament. An alleged murder in Bank car park. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question. This week, we're asking, if the 1987 Rambuka coup did not happen, would Fiji be a different place? Visit our FBC website to answer. Now, before we go, our shot of the day, 2 rainbows, one of nature's most beautiful effects, captured from the highway at Taindamu in Lautoka by Bob Khan. Or you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight from the team and I. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
Wrong on the radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kung minasama mo ko lang untuk talita na radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyaga sila tale. Naguraramay na omanyi nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gagawin sa vale nagudurong. Barong na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na buong ni BNN.